At this time in the service, often there is an opportunity for family or friends to talk a little bit about the person that we come here to remember and honor today. In this case, we have at least a couple people, and Charles, I'd like you to start out this morning if you would. Come on up to the pulpit and, yeah.
I'd like to recite a poem by Arthur William, his Safin Nader. It's called simply Yonder. Once I was afraid of dying, terrified of ever lying, petrified of leaving family, home, and friends. Thoughts of absence from my dear ones drew a melancholy tear once, and a dreadful lonely fear of when life ends. But those days are long behind me. Fear of dying does not bind me, and absence does not host a single care. Peace does comfort as I ponder a reunion in the yonder with my dearest ones waiting for me there. Thank you.
Thank you for coming to celebrate Valerie's freedom from her pain and suffering, which she's endured for the past 10 years. Valerie was not upset about dying. Charles's poem was apropos for the situation. The night before she passed away on Thursday night, June 9th, she made her peace with Aaron and Courtney because she knew it was coming, and told them that she loved them and always remember that, and told them that she loved Grandpa and let him know. Unfortunately, I was out of town. I was in Wichita, Kansas, and on Friday morning she had to take Courtney to the doctor because Courtney is 17 and can't see a doctor without somebody of age being with her. So she did that, and she was very, very ill. And Courtney offered to take her to the emergency room, but she declined. She was ready. She had made her peace, and she was ready to go. She wanted to stay on to see them through college, but it just wasn't to be because her illness was just engulfing her at this point. Valerie made a decision back in 2002 to have brain surgery, and consulted many of the neurosurgeons, Southwest Medical, MD Anderson in Houston, Dr. Acosta here in Arlington, and Aaron's brain surgeon in Fort Worth. They all said the same thing, that because the tumor was in the direct center of her brain, that surgery was high risk, no guaranteed positive outcome, and she would not be the same after having surgery. And, but the suffering from the tumor was too much to endure, to be able to continue to be a parent to Courtney, Aaron, and Ryan. And so she elected to go ahead with the surgery and try and get as many years as she could. And basically she got 9 to 10 years. We're not mourning her, we're celebrating her for her valor and for her contribution to our family, and the fact that she was a real trooper, hung in there as long as she possibly could. Valerie was the love of my life. She was my best friend, my lover, my partner. I couldn't have had a person that I would have been happier with. She was a good mother to our children, a good grandmother. She was always there to support them and help them, comfort them. She loved them, she loved our family, she loved her friends, she loved her church. And she loved people in general. people would come to her and pour out their problems to her. And she was a great listener. They felt comfortable, even if they didn't know her, because she wasn't judgmental. And she would just take on their pain and help them endure it. That's why she became involved in the ministry at Advent in Christ Care. And she became a trainer, teaching other people how to be Christ Care ministers. And she loved life, as you saw from the slides. The only thing I ever saw Valerie shy away from was we were in Australia, and that was when the bungee jumping thing had gotten started, and you had to jump off this bridge. And the only reason she shied away from it is the women wet their pants when they did it. And she didn't want to be embarrassed by doing that. But she wasn't afraid of anything. Her mother used to say, my picture of my daughter is jumping out of an airplane with a parachute, scuba gear, and skis on. So she made sure her children and grandchildren enjoyed adventure, travel, and took on the world. Our daughters, 2 of them work for American Airlines, and they enjoy the travel immensely. All of the kids are scuba divers or have been scuba divers in their life. They're all skiers, accomplished skiers. It was funny when I wasn't a skier really, but she grew up in Vail, and so she skied when she was a little kid, and she got us all skiing. And one day I came home from work, and she said she'd read Peter Benchley's The Deep. She said, I've signed us up for scuba lessons. And I said, well, but the last thing I think I want to do is learn how to scuba dive. But I went ahead with her anyway, and we went to the YMCA and went through the course. And I really got into scuba diving. We both became instructors. We took a summer and worked dive boats down in Florida. So we always had an adventure. Everything about life with Valerie was an adventure. And she was 100%. She supported me, supported our family in every way. Never worried about bad things that happened. You know, she just forged ahead. Tremendous courage. And so it was nice that Pastor Joel selected courage as the title of his homily or sermon. I'm not sure what you call it in a funeral. But so I don't want any of you to be sad about her passing, because she lived a great life, and she endured. I don't know if any of you know this, but she really had bad health problems forever. From the time she was 13 years old, she had a tumor on her ovary and had to be rushed to the hospital in Denver and down from Vail to Denver. And that kind of started a long process of surgeries and ailments, but she never let that get her down. She put out 100% regardless. And Alan, when he worked for us, used to take her to the hospital on a regular basis. I always said MCA should have a Valerie Walters wing. She's in there so many times. But we're going to miss her, no question about it. And I find it already difficult because I shared everything with her, and I keep thinking, I got to tell Valerie this, or I got to show her this. But there's no Valerie to tell or show anymore. And so it's like a hole in my life. It's 3 great losses I've had in my life: for my brother in 1970, and then my son, and now my wife. And the thing that you find is it creates a hole because you have certain relationships with those people that are irreplaceable. But the other side, you can't be selfish and wish that they would hang on and suffer for your benefit. So I'm not being selfish. I'm celebrating her release from the pain that she endured for the past 9 years. And I hope you will too. Thank you for listening to me.